is our 30th anniversary, because 30 years ago, in some dark flat in London, 4 guys got together and started a Viking group that they called Jomsborg Elag at that time. Since that time, they built the group bigger. They started to travel around Europe to other events. They actually began other groups. They started groups in Denmark, in Sweden, in Holland, in Poland. They started groups in different countries, and the whole organisation grew from those 4 guys and his mother's, I think it was his mother's flat. The whole organisation grew from that, and now we have like over 1,000 people in 25 different countries around the world. And this is what we're celebrating. It's like, it's a point in time. It's like remembering where we came from, looking now at where we've come to, where we are. And from my point of view as the leader, I want them to think about where we're going. Where are we going to be in 10 years' time or 30 years' time? What is the power of this organisation? What brings us together? What can we do with it? What is Jomsborg? It's a good question. Basic started as a reenactment organisation, which means people reenact some parts of the Viking Age. But we're not just reenactors, it's more than that.
My name is Matías Reed. I come from Santiago, Chile. I guess it was always in me, and I have the luck that my wife shares this passion too, so she's with me all the time and in all the trips. This is my first trip outside our continent. I've been in the States and in Colombia. In my group we are 28 fighters. In normal life, I'm an engineer, but I always say that I'm a full-time Viking and a part-time engineer.
My name is Dave Kilborn, and I am the Utland Storm Commander. That is typically North and South America. Viking reenactment is not as common in the United States, but the scene is growing. It's starting to take hold, and that's pretty exciting to be on the ground floor with that now. A lot of people have the interest in Viking culture, especially now. It's very popular. It was a very exciting time. Lots of things happened in a very short period of time. So that sort of interest kind of grabs people initially, and you find that you get a really close relationship with those people.
Yeah, we are a brotherhood before reenactors, before martial artists. It's hard to explain the connection that is created when you are fighting with someone at your side. I'm Juan Jose from Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, the leader of SCAL, the Viking group from the city. So we came here not only for the fight, but also like all the Jomsborg spirit. That kind of spirit I have not found anywhere else. Yeah, it's unique.
People have an enthusiasm and a passion that brings them together, but what makes them stay is because it's like a community. It becomes a community of its own, even though it's spread around the world. We have people in Jomsborg who can trace their ancestors back to Vikings. We have people in Jomsborg who are from countries the Vikings never visited, from completely different racial roots.
¿Estáis todos? ¿Atentos? Ignacio, Seto. Vale. El respawn nuestro es en la piedra que hay al fondo. ¿Os acordáis cuando entráis por allí? Y les muestro la foto.
Hicimos la foto con la piedra al fondo.
La piedra esa es donde...
La banda al museo, ¿no?
Exacto. Allí cuando muráis, os tenéis que ir allí y esperar a que venga 3/4 de vuestra LAC.
Sí, casual.
Claro, lo tenemos. 3/4 de vuestra LAC para volver a la vida y volver al campo. O que el Stisman, o los que están vivos...
Startpunkt ist zwar das Museum, da gehen wir auch los. Der Respawn-Punkt ist der Kindergarten. Die Backstage-Area zu voll, weil die werden sich noch wieder verkleinern. Könnt ihr euch auf der Jenseits des Turmes aufstellen. Die Spiele sollen immer eine halbe Stunde gehen. Vorn, alle sammeln. Und dann geht's wieder los.
And trying to absorb the biggest amount of information and experience, not just for me, but for my group, because I don't want to be the guy that came to the event. I want to be the guy who brought back information and experience for all us to grow up together.
It's like-minded people, and we take our inspiration from the 10th century.
We are talking about Viking martial arts. How do we know they were using martial arts anyway? How can we, or how do I know they were fighting in a specific way?
We were very lucky because we had an old friend of mine, Roland Fonseca, here. And Roland is the leading expert in the world in how the Vikings may have fought with their weapons.
You know why width is really important for the blade? So because I'm going to take the damage, because it leads the opposing blades away from your hand. So if you have a few more millimeters here, I wouldn't hit you.
Ja.
But here, the cut actually hits the hand. That's why having a wider blade is always helpful.
Next version.
Very cool, but that feels wonderful. There are multiple wounds rather than one decisive wounds, almost as if they were, I wouldn't say timid, but very careful. So you'd rather risk that your strike or your thrust is not incapacitating, but at the same time you are safe. So safety first appears to be a principle that makes a lot of sense. Here's a guy who's this is in Moscow Museum. You can look at that next time you're in Moscow.
So he studied fighting, he studied manuscripts from later periods, but most of all he's studied the Viking weapons. He's gone around museums, he's picked up swords, he's looked at the way the shields were built and thought about how the Vikings may have trained with them. The Vikings, they had a martial culture that stretched back before the Viking Age thousands of years. They were part of a movement of sword users, people of cultures that had the sword that had been going for thousands of years. They didn't just have this lump of metal and hack people with it. They had a whole understanding and usage behind them.
Since I was a child, it was always been a dream to fight with swords, and this is like the best way to do it.
No, I wasn't there because I wanted to know more about this place, so I was here on the houses, Because to train, we can go anytime to any place. But to be here in all these houses and watch all the artifacts, that's an opportunity that we don't have so often.
Gentlemen, welcome to the first and biggest Jomsborg Council. This is an old tradition, a long hall, the lady of the house handing round the welcome cover. One after the other, I'd like you to say who you are, what stall, what line.
Biggio, Andrea, South Storm, steersman of Jomsberg. Salute!
Salute! Nicholas, the man Elag, steersman, Canada, part of the East. Santé! Santé!
Mark from Roland Storm, steersman of Pool, upstate New York.
Skål!
I'm Soli from Northstorm, steersman of Brotherhood.
Hey, I'm Gilles from South Storm, Cyclone Garage from France.
Aaron, West Storm, steersman of Scotland. Skål!
Hi, I'm Kimak, East Storm, steersman of Elags of Jomsborg. Na zdrowie! Na zdrowie!
Gentlemen, Igor, Jomsborg Viking, Triglav, East Storm.
Slava!
The reason I became Jarl is because our former Jarl, Phil Bertham, died 5 years ago. And we needed someone else to pick up this organisation.
Ulrich, West Storm, and ruler of this king seat. Go!
Go!
That time I felt if I didn't step into this role with Phil's sudden death, then all this good energy that had been building up over the years in many different countries could start to collapse because it needed one person to pull it together. Jomsborg is something unique. Look at yourselves. We have some idea where it's come from, but you are the holders of the future. It's up to you. And if you think this organisation works by commands and inspiration coming from the top, going to the next level, going to the next level, and it happens, you're wrong. The power of Jomsborg comes from everybody's inspiration and the way everybody adds their own special fuel to the fire. Each one of you feeds the flame. But the real bones of Jomsborg are the steersmen. I was chosen by the Council of Jomsborg to be the Jarl. It's a lot of work. Am I going to be in this job until I drop dead? Or is someone else going to take it over? When someone else is ready, we'll see how that develops. It has to be the right person. Or possibly they'll go forward without a Jarl figure, but be run by a council.
Connaissez-vous les 4 frères, joyeux brailleurs et toujours fiers? rêve. Nous sommes les quatre frères, nous ne craignons pas la guerre, dans notre chair c'est gravé.
500 people have come here from 20 different nations was at the last count. 40 different lags, that means 40 different groups that belong to Jomsborg, all come together from all the nations across the world to this one point in Oldenborg.
We have never been before in a great fights, like great battles with a lot of people. We are just 15. I have been to Texas and other towns, but it's only like 70 people, not this much.
My name is Alex Kroll from Leaves Eyes, singer from a metal band, member of honor of the Jomsborg group, Elags of Jomsborg. Of course, we are 21st century Vikings. We write about it in our songs, and we have even a song called Jomsborg.
I'm Eric, I come from Cologne, near from Cologne. I'm a free dranger. I go to the events and travel there for my own, go to the group. I like to fight with them.
I guess the attitude to really be a Viking is to get involved with people and be honorable and seek for adventures and glory.
For Jomsborg, the fighting is the biggest role. That's how our command structure is. 2/3 of our people are fighters. Each one of the regional commanders in Jomsborg has a lot of authority to kind of pursue their view of what Jomsborg is. So we have this good diversity throughout Jomsborg. It enables us to kind of play off of each other and grab ideas from each other, which is something that helps keep the momentum of the group going. Because you have hey, let's try it this way. I don't know, maybe it'll work. I never thought of that. Brilliant.
So it was like a total change in my mind about the strategy, about all those things. It gives you the sense of about how you have to train, because this is like the real test. And if you have not experienced it, you will not know for what you're training.
That's a training for sub-commanders and for the second rank. It's a training of communication that you understand. You have to fucking go there, but only don't be fucking smart, buddy. You do it only when you are told to do so.
You know, people fear what they don't know. It's strange for people to me that you are a Viking from Colombia, and they're like, what? But I say, well, you make martial arts, kung fu, karate, and all of that is from Asia.
People do it all themselves, handmade. It's not just visual or whatever. You can touch, you can feel it, the food. Everything you do is for real, and you just enter another world.
The first one and most important is the spirit of brotherhood.
A promise is a promise. A word is a word, and no, like the modern stuff, yeah, I make it, and you turn around and it's forgotten completely. I'm proud to be a small part in a group who was all over the world in the medieval times.
It's 500 people of Jomsborg, only Jomsborg. That's like unbelievable that we gather from all around the world just to be here for a weekend. It's like
No more focus. Stop. Come closer. Come on. Come closer. Get back there. The only reason we could be here is because the museum and the town welcomed us. Stefan, museum director. The really important one. The Lag Starigard, whose place this is. Without them, this couldn't happen. Uli, Dennis, Sebastian, these are the front people of Starigard. There are many others. They are the ones who are working so hard. Is a new banner, because the old banner had seen so many wars, it was getting thin, worn out. The old banner that went around all the world and symbolised the unity of Jomsborg. The old banner is sewn inside the new banner. This is the new banner, and the person who did almost all the work. JJ. But one person worked even more. Now, you come from every corner of the world. We dress as Vikings, but we don't pretend to be Vikings. Jomsborg is more. It's what you bring to it. Where's this dream going to go? It's like a fire. It's your fire. The fire in your heart.
So we have to say, I will salute you, Jan Hopper!
To symbolise the fire of Jomsborg, we will do our fire ceremony. We will walk in procession from here to the museum. Follow me. Can you hear me at the back? 2 men wide. First, the north storm, then the south storm, then the east, then the west, then Utrecht, and then the fat boys at the back.
I think that most people is attracted to going Viking because there's a place or an instance where you let go yourself and act as a group, as one mind, and you feel that the guy on your side thinks the same, and you feel that support from everybody. And I think that's one thing that you don't see outside this activity.
Nie, na pobranie tego. I dopiero...
Fire steel! Wolferic.
We're very much a 21st century movement. We're lucky, we're so lucky in the 21st century that we can meet people from different countries. They want to be part of this as well. It's very much a 21st century organisation.
In recent years, it's been easier to find these communities through social media and things like that. We can communicate more efficiently. People can find people with like interests, so that we definitely find diamonds in the rough out there.
not like you only live in the past, but you're living history. Yeah, you do something. People go research, find out, talk to each other, and create something, and keep the spirit alive.
Come forward, make the fire here with your torches, and return to the circle. Let's go, forward.
So it's kind of an exploration for us. Since it wasn't written down, this was something that was passed from father to son or from a sword master to his student. We've taken those treatises and kind of reverse engineered some of this. We've been moving as a group really away from thinking about this as a reenactment.
It's like a kind of culture. This organization has to find its strength and make things happen. I don't know, one day it might be some kind of new Viking nation.
To all those people, if you believe that you can't do this, you're wrong. So come out and give it a try.